So does cardio kill your gains or does it affect muscle growth? This has been like a long-standing debate in the fitness industry for as long as I can remember. Even me personally, I would have went through a point maybe 10 to 15 years ago where I actually stopped doing cardio. I didn't do any cardio because I thought it would affect me building muscle. So quick background, I come from like sporting background, was always like skinny, found it hard to put on weight and gain muscle, would have been more of that skinny fat type of person. So when I started to get into the gym real seriously, it kind of, I think what makes this a lot more believable is when you hear it, you think like a marathon runner. You look at the way a marathon runner looks, bodybuilder. You look at a bodybuilder like, okay, that makes sense. Don't do cardio if you want to look like the bodybuilder. But again, they're just two extremes, and it's it's funny because I stopped doing cardio then because I thought again it would affect me, and I would actually say it hampered my progress. I even got to the stage because I started to gain weight, but actually gaining probably more body fat than muscle, and I got to a point I remember in training where I stopped doing anything like over even 8 reps because I was getting fatigued. That's how unfit I was getting. I changed my program. When I look back now, I'm like, changed my program down to like really low reps because I actually wasn't able to cardiovascularly keep up with it. Should have been a sign, but you live and you learn. So the funny thing is, I actually believe now, and I think it's becoming more known. Even if you look at the bodybuilding world, a lot more bodybuilders. The reason why I use two extremes here, we're all in the middle, but I think you can always use the extremes as examples to pull from. Even bodybuilders are doing cardio year round now because of the benefits it has on their long-term health, their longevity. And when you actually look at it, something I've even experienced is, especially when I started doing more running and cardio consistently, it actually can help you build muscle because it improves your recovery and you recover faster between sets and between workouts. And when you recover faster, it actually gives you more ability to handle more volume. And we know volume is a big driver of muscle growth. So if you can do more total work and recover from it, you're going to give your body more opportunities to build muscle. So that's a big one that you don't really, until you experience it, you you don't really realize it, you know. And then just the improved fitness, your body's more efficient in general. Like having better health markers, being more cardiovascular fit, it's all round, not only for health, but again, health and performance and body composition are all linked together. I think sometimes people look at like body composition, health, performance. They're all going to mesh into each other when you're taking the right approach. And you can actually, more the fitter you are, the more work capacity you have. So even in sets, you're less likely to fatigue. You can do more reps. You can recover faster, and it has such a positive knock-on effect. And I think even from a body composition point of view, I think it's easier generally to stay leaner the more fitter you are. You'll have improved insulin sensitivity, improved nutrient partitioning, and just even anecdotally for myself, the more I keep my cardio in check, the easier it is for me to maintain long term. Because I suppose even your body gets more efficient with if when you are taking on more calories, when you have a certain amount of fitness and muscle mass as well. So yeah, I think everybody can benefit from doing cardio, even if your main goal is trying to build muscle. The biggest thing is there is an interference effect. So look at it like this, and this is why extremes. The danger is always in the dose, right? If you're training for a marathon and you're doing super long runs and a lot of mileage, it's gonna be basically impossible to build muscle, right? Because your body is so busy trying to recover from all this that it just doesn't have the tools, the building blocks, the nutrients. We're really just focusing there. But for most people, you're not marathon, ultra marathon training all year round. You're just doing a couple of 5K, 10K, even a half marathon, that type of thing. So the danger is in the dose. And that's really important. But there is an interference effect. There comes a certain point. But also what you have to consider with this, and this is where a lot of people get it wrong as well, is training volume and intensity matters as well. Because I just see a lot of people, if you're doing too much volume, especially with like cardio. And if it's too intense, you're affecting your recovery, which then will affect your ability to build muscle, but also usually train hard in the gym as well. Because then if your gym training starts to get affected, you're not fully recovering, you're not giving the putting the stimulus on the body that's required. And then the other big thing, which kind of ties off that, is your recovery and fueling. A lot of people, they basically overtrain. They do too much training, not enough recovery, and they don't fuel that. So then they get caught where they're actually, that's where you start to run the risk of, again, burning through muscle, and not inherently because you're doing too much cardio. It's actually because you're not recovering and fueling appropriately for the amount of training you're doing. So that's where you need to be really careful. And it's when you're combining uh, goals, especially if you have muscle building and uh, cardiovascular, like if you're doing high rocks or half marathons and that, it becomes a lot more important how you program, how you recover. If you're just trying to build muscle, it's honestly very simple and you're not doing much cardio. If you're just trying to run and you don't care about muscle, which you shouldn't do that anyway, but it's a lot easier. When you're combining them, you have to be smarter with how you program, with how you structure your training, with taking deload weeks, with monitoring your intensity, monitoring your volume, and also monitoring how you're recovering. Because again, all these things can be individual. Some people can take a huge amount of training load and they're fine, others can't. So that's where the skill of the whole process comes in. But overall, for most people, a couple of cardio sessions a week, a couple of lifting sessions, you're absolutely, it's the combination is the best for overall health, performance, and longevity.